brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys. Suds. It's time for more Suds.
Yes, it is sipping time. Special sipping time.
Sip in.
Oh, sip in.
It's like a protest. It's like a protest.
It's a protest.
Sounds like my kind of protest.
It is.
As in, dang it, we're going to drink
People
our beer.
never leave at the sip in.
I love it. That's so cool. That's going to be our new mantra.
I'm ready to protest.
I think everyone now. Just.
I'm always quick. I'm pretty quick with a mantra.
Yes. Welcome everyone. This is another Suds segment, in case you were wondering, where really good beer meets really bad radio. And today we have a plethora of sip-in specialists. First off, little boy Dave.
I am your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
That's a great one.
Of course you are.
He's so proud. You can't really see him.
He's really beaming.
He is so proud of himself.
Yeah,
for that one.
man, the sunshine in that corner is huge.
I think we just checked something off the bucket list there.
So proud.
Wow. Also joining us at the table is good old boy Caperton.
Just hi.
As simple as that. Of course. And after a long hiatus, back in the saddle.
I think that's kind of personal. Nobody's ever seen my hiatus at this table, but it's good to be back.
It's been known
It's good old boy Sparky.
Hey, Sparky, what are you doing?
I got my own soundbite.
You do.
Hot dog.
Man.
You guys were talking about my hiatus, and I got a soundbite.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Trying to get that level one day.
Yeah. And also with us is good old boy Tim.
Leave her on, Timmy.
I shouldn't have asked for that.
I'm still looking for one that says Caperton.
Yeah, it's out there.
The search continues.
It's out there. You got to go to the dark web to find it.
I'm saving up my bitcoins.
All of
There
it.
you go.
And then there's me. Okay.
Good old gal,
Juliana.
Yeah.
on,
there's,
Man,
there's,
we were in harmony when we were practicing
that
earlier.
was
Julie.
Oh, and the crowd
wow.
shares the love.
Yeah. Okay, so today's episode is kind of cool. It is a style show.
Yeah.
And we're going to be discussing brown ales.
I'm letting all my homies know that I'm down for the brand.
That was completely unexpected.
Man, the sound effects are on.
He is on
Yes,
fire.
I think we just need to call this episode now because there's nowhere to go after this.
There is nowhere to go.
Peaked.
We have.
Prematurely.
He's only getting started.
Well, okay. Well, before we get into all the browns, this Sud segment is brought to you by
Sip, Suds, and Smokes, the video game. Play as your favorite good old boy or gal to build up your collection of the good things in life. Buy, trade, and sell beer, cigars, and wine and spirits to build up the best seller ever. Play online against friends or do what good old boy Sparky does and just play with yourself. Sip, Suds, and Smokes, the video game. Download it for free on the iTunes Store or Google Play.
Well, thank you, sponsor. So, good old boy Dave, I know you did some extensive research on this. So, can you tell us what Wikipedia says about brown ales?
Wikipedia? You mean the fountain of all human knowledge?
Drink up.
Brown ale is a style of beer with a dark amber or brown color. Imagine that. The term was first used by London brewers in the late 17th century to describe their products, such as mild ale, though the term had a rather different meaning than it does today. 18th century brown ales were lightly hopped and brewed from 100% brown malt. Today, there are brown ales made in several regions, most notably England, Belgium, and America.
Freedom. Thank you.
Beers termed brown ales include sweet, low-alcohol beers such as Mann's Original Brown. So that's Mann's with 2 N, by the way.
It's
Ale,
extra manly.
yes. Medium-strength amber beers of moderate bitterness such as Newcastle Brown Ale. I would dispute the moderate bitterness. And malts, but hoppy beers such as Sierra Nevada Brown Ale. Oh, and somehow Wikipedia forgot, but some of my favorites are Oud Bruins from Belgium.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sierra Nevada
Again,
make
man.
the
I like the little flourish at the end.
I don't know if I've seen that. I mean, that might be something
Shut
they
up.
just
Okay, Wikipedia said it's there.
Dave said so.
Yeah, I don't think
Remember
we
the
should
last
challenge
time
his
we
authority.
fought against him.
Respect
Or
my
Wikipedia's
authority.
authority. Wow. Okay. Sparky, would you please do us the honor and give us today's extraordinary lineup?
Well, I haven't seen this many browns since I took him to the Super Bowl.
Hey!
I don't think any of us were alive at that point.
No, well, I was this morning. All right.
Oh. I got to give you that one.
I told you I'd get it in there somewhere. All right. The first one we have is from Big Lake Brewing, Leroy Brown.
He's bad.
He's bad. Well, he's actually not that bad.
Not that bad.
Come to think of it. Sweetwater Brewing Company's Georgia Brown, which from the tagline is smoother than a Bill Clinton apology.
I'm sorry.
It's on the bottle.
Mr. President.
Cigar City Brewing's Maduro Brown Ale. Catawba Brewing Company's Brown Bear Brown Ale. Braxton Brewing Company's Graeter's Blueberry Pie Brown Ale.
Sensing a theme here.
There's something happening with Brown. Lazy
What can
Magnolia.
Brown do for you?
Well, I can tell you what it did after my coffee this morning. I'm going to never stop. You can't stop me. Lazy Magnolia Brewing Company's Southern Pecan Brown Ale. And then Wiseacre Brewing Company's Rockets in the Complex Imperial Brown with cocoa nibs.
Ooh, dim nibs.
All those nibs.
Oh, them nibs.
Niblets.
Well, thanks, Sparky. That was awesome. Hey, good old boy Tim, would you mind giving us the Suds readings for today?
Oh, yeah. Today we'll be discussing and rating these brown beers with these Suds ratings, plus our signature belching sounds. Here are those ratings now. 1, that sucks. Give me anything but a bud. 2, was that a belch? 3, what a relief.
A little echo.
That was a good
Good
imitation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty
perfect.
on command.
4, a body should really not make that sound. And the Suds rating 5. Listen to that hang time. Give me another.
The much coveted 5.
You don't get any better than that.
No. Well, maybe, but that's another show. All right. Well, good old boy Dave, why don't you kick it off?
Down
and-
like a clown, Charlie. Down like a clown, Charlie. Down like a clown, Charlie. Down like a clown, Charlie.
I told you, he's just getting started.
I know.
He's just getting started.
That's the last one.
Lies. Sitting on a throne of lies.
Just happy to be here.
Okay.
I hope that comes back out.
Good old boy Dave, what would you like to start with first?
So my top 3, my first one would be Brown Bear from Catawba.
Brown Bear. Oh, yes.
Roar.
So this one, wow. This one is 5.2% ABV, and Ursus americanus, or black bears, are prominent in western North Carolina. But Catawba's rare brown bear also roams these mountains. Its smooth caramel and chocolate notes dominate your first taste, Then a subtle dryness cleanses your palate just in time for another sip. The English-inspired brown ale is dark and flavorful, yet not too robust or filling. Libate, don't hibernate. And that is from Catawba.
Okay, I thought you just made that up because I was going to say that's pretty dang good. So I really like this beer because to me, of the flight, this was the most brown ale-ish of the brown ales.
And it is a nice dark brown color, too.
It's brown in appearance. It's brown in flavor. And I've smelled me, and I'm a brown, so this is what browns smell like.
He know this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There is that.
Really good
I
point.
do pick up a little of that.
That's right. Yeah. You think of me when you think of a brown.
Very quaffable.
Yes. And quaffable.
That's what I've always said
I'm
about
quite
you.
Quaffable. No, but I do like the best part of this beer to me is how it's nice and malty in the beginning with a little chocolate, but it does finish dry and crisp. And I really like this beer, and I gave it a 4. So my second beer of my top 3. If I could read, I don't know what this says. Oh, Leroy Brown. So just like the Jim Croce song, this is a bad, I don't think he says man.
Shut your mouth.
No.
Yeah. So it's not Shaft, but
It's just
You know.
bad Leroy Brown. Baddest man in the whole
town.
whole town.
Town.
Whole
Yes.
town.
doggone town.
Yep.
So this is from Big Lake Brewing Company. And
You said Big Lick?
Big Lake.
Oh, sorry.
Lake. Yeah, it's 5.2%. And it says, don't let the name fool you. It's not that mean. This is our American brown ale. 4 caramel malts and chocolate create this clean, easy drinking masterpiece.
Well, wasn't Leroy Brown not even that bad at all?
Turns out by the end of the song, it was not.
We'll be right back after a brief interlude.
Rolling clouds and crashing surf, iridescent dunes reflecting by the light of a rising, glowing moon. Seashore mesmerizing, night breeze hypnotizing. We've come across these back roads none too soon. Look to the left, to the right. Keep your eyes on the road, my darling. Wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows. My hand is yours forever, sweet love.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Brown Day because we are doing a style show on brown ales.
And it's not a fashion show involving good old gal Julieanna and myself.
No,
But
thank
that
God
wouldn't be
for
a
that.
deal breaker.
Yeah, I would have shown up for that as well.
Sashay away.
I would have done a sip in for that, you know.
Different brewery
You would need
t-shirts.
a sip in for that. So anyways, we're talking about good old boy Dave's second top pick, and this is from Big Lake Brewing Company in Holland, Michigan.
You sure you're not saying Big
She
Lick?
sounds like she's saying lick.
Big lick.
It's either Big Lick or Big Leg. And I'm cool with either one.
I don't have a problem.
Yeah,
I'm
big
fine
leg.
with either
Yep.
one.
could-
But
Good.
you insist it's Big Lake.
Lake.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Like a
Like,
body
how many
of
legs
water.
does it take to get to the bottom of a Tootsie Pop?
I've never had that much patience, my friend.
3. Sorry.
That was good. That was good.
Mr. Owl.
Okay, so talk about Leroy.
So it's funny when you sit Leroy next to the brown bear, how different the color is.
It
so
is completely different.
You can tell that there's a lot of leeway in what people consider the target color or even the malt makeup for this style of beer. So
Although, to be fair, allegedly, your first beer was an English brown style, and this one is an American brown style. So,
Well, but I think you throw American in front of anything, you're basically saying it's hoppy.
Yeah,
I would
I
tend
do
to
agree with
agree with
that.
that.
But this one's not overly hopped, though. I mean,
I don't know if that's right, though.
Would American browns be sweeter than?
I would
I'd
would
say
say
less
English
sweet. They would
English
be less,
beers
yeah.
usually are sweeter because
They're maltier.
They're more restrained on the hops.
Okay.
Usually you do more
Right,
bittering
right,
hops.
right.
But this one is in no way bitter. But I think there's also the distinction between Southern English browns and Northern English browns, where the Southern ones I think are typically sweeter. I could be wrong. I haven't read up on my BJCP lately. I do try to read that.
I intended
before
to
I
do
go to
that
bed
before
every
this
night.
episode, actually.
Yeah,
I thought about it, and I think that counts in a lot of ways.
It does.
We all get marks.
you know what?
for-
Good intentions get you a long way.
There's a road
That's right.
somewhere paved.
I think it's the road to success.
It's a brown road.
Well, it is now.
It's brown on the way back, buddy. I can tell you that.
Oh.
But anyways, this
Yeah.
one is a lot lighter in color than the Brown Bear. It's kind of a nice, almost amber, has an amber hue, if you will.
Yep.
Yeah, well, the Wikipedia referenced a lot of amber.
They did.
Well, if Wikipedia says it, I believe it.
It's the truth.
But this one is not as sweet, but it finishes to me not as dry as well. So I like this one as a nice, well-rounded beer. This is a very good drinkable beer. And I also gave it a Suds rating of 4.
Kaboom.
In your face, big leg.
And number 3.
For my last of the top 3, we're going to go a little further south to Georgia. And we're going to try the Sweet Georgia Brown.
That's smoother than a Bill Clinton apology. And you can even see that on the website.
Do you realize that
It's
just
on
by
the
saying
website,
that,
too.
we lost the entire millennial demographic?
Probably.
Just want to be clear on
Did
that.
we ever have them?
Bill Clinton was he was a president of the United States, and it's on Wikipedia.
It's Hillary's
Just go on
husband.
Wikipedia.
You could just
it's on
wiki
there.
it.
It's
Yeah.
Hillary's husband. Okay, so they probably know who that is.
That's a good way to
That's a
connect.
start. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a start.
yeah. He plays the saxophone
He
He does.
refused.
They probably know what that is.
He
you know.
refused to feel
Could
the
be.
burn.
in more ways than one.
Yeah.
He did not inhale.
That was
True.
That we know of.
yeah.
Yeah.
He says that he did. It's
Yeah.
true that he says he did not inhale.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, it's smoother than
All right.
that.
But come on, you all inhale from one time or another. I'm just saying.
I inhale like right before I exhale, like every second.
Every 2 to 3 seconds,
Yeah,
at least.
it's true.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, besides it being smoother than a Bill Clinton apology, this is a 5.8% brown ale. The malt bill gives a subtle, nutty, and toasty flavor, and the chocolate malt provides a rich cocoa flavor and aromas that range from roasted coffee to chocolate-covered dark fruits. Interesting. The hops used provides excellent bitterness in relation to the chocolate notes of the malt. The flavor and aroma provide clean, floral, fruity, and herbal notes. A light dose of hops brings balance to it all. And of note, they only use 2 hops, and it's Columbus and Willamette. Take it away, good old boy Dave.
Cool. Well, the reason I picked this one, I mean, I think it tastes good and everything, but this is the only one of the flight to me that says, hey, I'm from America. All right. I'm going to put some hops in this beer and you can like it or you can big lick it. Okay. So whatever, dude.
I do what I want.
Do what I want. But I really do like this beer, and I think the hops. This is the only one where the hops are like a prominent flavor component, and I think they're not overly assertive, but I think they do have add a nice balance to the malt, and I am serious about what I'm saying. That I think this is the most prototypical American version of a brown ale to me because they do use the hops. The color is between the Brown Bear and the Leroy Brown, so I can tell they used a few more darker malts than the Leroy Brown, but I think the flavor is nice and complex with the fruitiness added by the hops, nice bit of bitterness that's not overdone, and you still get the chocolate notes from the malts. And I'm going to just say yay.
There you go.
Yay.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to give it a 4.
Very good.
4s across the board.
Triple 4. Look at that.
Trips. Yep. Trips,
Sounds
4s.
good.
Trips, quats.
Bam. That's me. Bam.
Done.
And you're done.
Brown and out of town.
I
Wow.
got to get that sound. Like bam.
Bam.
Uh-oh.
Emerald.
We're in trouble.
Are we?
Bam.
Yeah.
Bam. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Moving on.
Bam! Sorry, I had to do that.
Moving on. Good old boy Caperton. Let's talk about your picks.
Okay, my picks. Let me just say up front,
Uh-oh.
this was a challenge for me, the Browns.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you tried like more fiber?
So let me say that in some respects, my most favored style would be the Saison.
Of course.
And in a lot of ways, the brown is like the other side of the Saison coin, if you think about it, you know.
It can be.
Yeah, it's
maybe.
they're not dry, right? Which the Saison would be.
They can
Yeah.
be.
but they're you know, lower ABV. They're I don't know, more. They're very drinkable.
Not as
you
much
know?
wheat as a Saison.
Right, but I'm saying in the respect that I think with browns, one beer leads to the other. I mean, I can drink those things once I get started. I just keep going.
I was at a panel this year at CBC in DC earlier, and they were talking about how browns are like the perfect beer for pretty much pairing any food with. Like it's just
Yeah, I can see
and
that.
it's sad too, because I think in a lot of like in the marketplace, it's not always the easiest sell, except for maybe this time of year. But it just complements so many different kinds of foods.
Whenever I drink one, I always think I should drink these more often.
Browns are the Browns are the introverts of craft beer. You know, they're not like up in your face.
I think you're onto something there.
Yeah, you might be right there. Well, anyway, that said, I put my nose to the grindstone or whatever we do there.
Beer stone?
Yeah, the beer stone. And I came up with some picks. So
Ooh. Well, do tell.
I'm going to say, and this was a big old bunch of beers, and I'm going to go with my top pick would be from Tampa's Cigar City and the Maduro Brown.
The Maduro Brown.
I'm giving the Maduro, and I gave that beer a 4.
Does that just mean the brown?
The brown. There's my 4. I thought it was delicious. It's got a nice sweet caramel notes on, you know, the smell was just gorgeous, and that followed right over into the taste, I thought, with sweet chocolate and some coffee there that lent maybe almost a little bit of acidity to the sweetness. Not a super balanced beer though. But it's not like a pastry beer, not so much, but it's
There's no flaky crust.
There's no flaky crust, but it's moving that way. And yeah, I just think that's a great beer. I could drink that sucker a lot.
So this one is 5.5% ABV, and this is a Northern English style brown ale.
There you go.
With some American. Yeah, a little bit of America thrown in.
I'm guessing some coffee and some.
So it's higher.
Some sweetness.
It's higher in ABV than the common English brown ale, and features flaked oats in the malt bill, which imparts a silky body, and works to mesh the roasted, toasted, and chocolate components together
I do love a silky body.
in their complex malt profile. The end result is a remarkable, full-flavored yet approachable brown ale that pairs well with mild to medium cigars. Because
Cigars.
Maduro is a kind of cigar. Yeah.
exactly.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So there you go. All right. Well, moving on. What's your number 2?
Moving right along. Kind of getting in the car with Dave a little bit here towards the end. It was kind of these next 2 beers could almost both be, I would almost.
Where are we going?
I thought this was a sip-in.
We're picking up the brown bear down at Leroy Brown's
gotcha.
house.
Nice.
So I'm going to say my second pick, although these next two could almost be, what do we say? Run concurrently, I guess, or something
Interchangeable.
to get
Siamese
legalistic.
twins?
But
2 for 1.
I went with Catawba's brown bear, and I just have to agree with a lot of what Dave said. It was dark and roasty looking, and that definitely is what it delivered. Again, there was like a fair amount of sort of sweet caramel, but ultimately finished, reasonably dry.
I think that's the roasted barley or something.
Yeah. Okay.
I know
Okay.
someone who
And-
doesn't like it. He doesn't have a mic, but if he could, this guy doesn't have
Actually,
a
he
mic.
always has a mic. He's not welcome with the Browns.
He is a mic.
Step up to the mic.
Get in here, big guy. And I gave the brown bear a Suds rating of 3. Yeah. And lastly, but not leastly, I'm going with my third pick of Leroy Brown from Holland, Michigan's
Big Legs.
Big Lick Lake Brewing.
Big leg, lick, lick.
And the
Big
Leroy
leg.
Brown. And just I can't really add much to what Dave said other than I just felt like it was very representative of what I think of when I think of a brown. It was a little light in color, which would almost makes me expect that it's going to be a little light in body. I felt like maybe it was a little more effervescent than the other ones, though.
Yes,
And it was there was a nice it was not, but it was supremely drinkable. And I can't really remember what I said. It was something along the lines of it didn't really knock me over the head, but there was nothing offensive about this beer whatsoever.
I think you said you wouldn't marry it, but you might go out with it.
I would definitely go out with it a few times. Maybe make some promises.
Maybe I just made that.
Yeah, I do like the body. It has a nice body.
Yeah, nice
Yeah.
body.
Yeah, silky.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a good beer.
If you could get the milk for
And,
free, you know what I'm saying?
And I really would not really rate this below the brown bear at all, like I'm saying, but I did give it a Suds rating of 3 as well.
Well, I think we know how Caperton feels about brown ales in general if his top 3 are 1, 4, and 2 3s.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Doesn't love them, doesn't hate them.
Yeah, they're good.
He's not mad.
No.
No. He's
Three's
not mad
pretty,
at
a
him.
3's
Yeah.
pretty doggone good, guys.
Yeah. That's all right. It's right where you want it to be.
Maybe if the Belgians did a brown ale.
If they
I
did.
guess they do.
Yeah, but
It's a sour.
an ood.
Ood. I wish they'd get some new ones. I'm so tired of all these
Yeah.
foods.
Stop giving us all your old beer.
Goose.
Yeah.
Bruins.
Jokes on the Americans.
Yeah.
Let's give
Yeah.
them our
Old
20-year-old beer and
Yeah.
they'll go crazy for
Take
it.
this beer from the 70s and enjoy it, jerks.
Wow.
We drink German
Yeah.
pills.
Out of my old barrels that I've had for 100 years.
I forgot I even had these barrels.
And I don't even care.
My fooders.
Oh boy. All right, moving on. Good old boy Sparky. What beers would you like to talk about?
All right.
Hey, Sparky, what are you doing?
It never gets old.
It doesn't. I
Nor
hope
do
not, 'cause
brown
I'm-
jokes.
Never will.
Down like a clown, Charlie. Boo. Down like a clown, Charlie. Boo. Down like a clown, Charlie. Boo. Down like a clown, Charlie. Boo.
And that's worth every second, every time. Just to be clear.
We need to do
payoff
more
there.
brown shows just for that.
Every
Well,
time. God bless you, sir. All right. So I think I'm going to start off with the Cigar City Maduro, which I think we've already described here. And it's really weird because that was the first one I tasted. And so coming back to it when it was warmer and kind of later on in the tasting was interesting to revisit that and kind of see where the flavors had gone. But so there's on the nose, I got some fruit on the nose, like some darker fruit on it and some kind of caramel notes on it. And then when I tasted it, molasses, like this nice, rich, sweetness, some smoke too. I guess it's hard not to do the mental association of a Maduro wrapper cigar and this beer when you're going through it. But I got raisins and other dark fruits. And then it had this nice, long, not very sweet, kind of dry Maduro finish. And I haven't had a good cigar in a minute. And it really made me want to go out and just smoke a delicious Maduro wrapper cigar. But yeah, I gave it overall a Suds rating of 4.
Very good.
And I was telling you guys, there's I think a vanilla variant of this. They probably do a couple of different of it, but the vanilla variant is excellent if you ever have a chance to.
Bet that's good.
I bet it is.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
They do a tobacco variant. Have they tried that one yet?
They don't do any variants of tobacco of anything. Yeah, it's just tobacco all day. Yeah, it's true. All right. So
Sparky's really good at this.
I'm trying.
He's really good.
Try so hard.
When he's on, and he's like always on. So,
It's true.
Right.
There is an off switch.
yeah.
There's an off switch.
But it's in a place where you don't want to.
No, my wife has been searching for it for over 20 years.
Going there.
It's true.
She refuses to put her finger there.
No, the no place, as some might call it.
That's the off switch.
That's the no. The no. No does. Yeah. Learning too much about me. All right.
Sharing is caring.
It is. Ooh, oversharing is something
We
else.
all have our off switch, buddy.
The old big lick.
The big leg.
Yes.
Leg. Can't do that.
Big
too
leg,
fast.
lick, lake.
Yeah, good job. That's good. You're quite a cunning linguist. So
I have to cut that out.
moving out to yeah. So moving on, the second beer that I picked for my top of all these was Catawba's Brown Bear. And when I first smelled this, I think it was a little bit too cold. So there really weren't a lot of things coming out of it. But I love the color of this. I mean, to me, this is like, when I think of a brown, this is really what it should look like.
And we'll be right back after this brief interlude.
The destination, but baby, the whole elation riding down this lover's avenue. As slow as a willow blows, or as fast as the whirlwind grows, we glide beneath the stars in cobalt blue. Look to the left, to the right. Keep your eyes on the road, my darling, wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows, my hand is yours forever, sweet love. Our eyes ahead on these back roads with a view.
Welcome back, folks. We are talking about brown ales, and sadly, we interrupted good old boy Sparky as he was talking about beer number 2.
We're sorry, Sparky.
So
Sorry,
please
buddy.
continue with beer number 2.
No, and when we're talking about number 2, I mean,
Never
it's really
interrupt-
about the brown show.
Never interrupt a man in the middle of a
Never
number two.
interrupt a number 2.
No, you shouldn't.
Almost got
Certainly
to
not.
the off switch.
Nope, came close.
It's hard to put your brakes on once you get going.
You can't. You shouldn't try.
can't
It's
put
probably
that genie
You
back
could,
in the bottle.
you can really hurt yourself.
You can.
It's bad for you.
Yeah, you've got to commit and just follow through.
You got to relax and let it happen.
It's kind of like life.
Speaking of letting it happen, Catawba's Brown Bear.
Yep. Yep.
Smoky on the nose, very dry, smoky, dry finish. I would love to do like a roast chicken and pair it with this beer. I think that would be amazing. Maybe some roasted root vegetables to go along with it. I think that'd be fantastic. But again, very classic to the style and just really well done. And I gave that a 4 as well. The last one I chose was really... I've got a terrible sweet tooth. So this is kind of a naughty pleasure for me. So Rockets in the Complex. Is that right, Julieanna?
Rockets in the Complex. Yes, from Wiseacre. Now this one obviously is an Imperial brown with cocoa nibs. And this puppy is 7.6%.
Yeah, and it's totally a Beatus beer. And sugary is all get out. chocolate and mocha on the nose, tons of sugar, nice round creamy mouthfeel. I think I asked about if you guys were tasting milk sugars in there, and then chocolate, but don't really get as much of the booze in it but it's probably hidden under all the delicious sweet sugary syrup.
Yeah.
But this is a dessert beer, and quite a bit different from some of the other ones we've been drinking. But I just had to because it's all sugary and sweet and
Just like you.
oh, dull, dull.
Very Imperial.
It is. Think of Regal even. So I gave that a 3.
Very good. All right. Moving on. Good old boy Tim. Let's talk about your picks.
Is it tasty or run?
What was that?
What was that?
You don't want to know.
Oh, okay. I appreciate it.
Maybe.
Great intro for Tim
My
here.
ear didn't work on that.
Really?
Is it tasty or run?
I'm down with the brown. Where's that one? All right. Let's start with some ratings here. So, echoing everyone, I thought the Catawba Brown Bear was excellent. I give that a Suds rating of 4. Yeah, it was probably the darkest beer of all the bunch that we had.
You know, the darker the beer,
The sweeter the juice,
something.
I'm
a sweet
I
Jew.
did know that. I did know that.
or the bigger the head.
Both.
That's what it is. The darker the beer, the bigger the head.
There you go.
Yeah.
Where is Spinal Tap when you need them?
Smell the glove.
It's darker than dark.
What's your second beer, Tim?
The second beer was the Big Lake Brewing Company Leroy Brown.
Attaboy.
I gave that a rating of 3. And, you know, good old boy Dave was talking about American browns and their need for hop presence, or that it just brings that to mind. And that is true, but it's also a little unfair because then it detracts maybe in your mind from the ones that don't have that. And this one was just kind of a straightforward brown ale. It didn't have crazy body, but it wasn't thin. I thought a few of the other beers were a little on the thin side, and this didn't have that problem.
No silky body.
The body was not quite as silky as the Maduro, maybe, but still on a silk level of 1 to 5. I'd give that a silk of 3.
Went out of sound for that, though. So.
And so,
Separate rating.
just coincidentally the same. On this.
Silky.
That's a 3, right? Yeah. Good job. Ooh, nice silk. Give me some more. And so we were talking about how, and it mentions this on a few of the cans, brown ales lend themselves to food so well. I know when I cook with beer, I mean, a lot of times it'll be like a roast or some chili or something, but I don't know, brown ale is what my mind kind of goes to, that or a porter or stout. And, you know, that lends itself to the question, why would you cook or bake with a brown ale when you can just put it all in the beer itself? Which brings me to my third beer, the Braxton Blueberry Pie Brown Ale.
Oh, I see what he did there. He brought that around.
Yeah, it all just kind of came back.
Oh, did I do that?
That came around like a donut.
My God.
I wrote that yesterday before ever even trying this beer.
Boy.
Wow.
Just plugged it in.
So this is a kind of a
what she
cool
said.
beer, though. It's based off of Graeter's seasonal flavor, Elena's Blueberry Pie. For those of you that don't know, Graeter's is a ice cream company from Cincinnati, Ohio. Yes.
Bob Hope. Here's an interesting, if I can throw this in really quick.
Yeah.
Bob Hope, for his USO tours, the only payment he required was Graeter's ice cream.
Wow. That's cool.
No way.
What are you, like
Oh, that's so
1,000
cool.
years old that you know that?
It's funny you say that.
Who's Bob Hope? Was he
A
with Bill Clinton?
member of the family passed that on to me.
Oh,
Cool,
wow.
man.
Who is
It's amazing ice
a
cream.
bit older than myself, but
Cool.
I won't put him at 1,000.
That's
All
pretty
right.
rad.
So
That's pretty
blueberry.
rad.
Okay, back to it.
Yeah, so the flavor was created by Graeter's for the Cure Starts Now Foundation, which raises money to research a cure for diffuse intrinsic pontine gliomas, an aggressive form of brain cancer. The Blueberry Pie Brown Ale is a 7% ABV brown ale, which is brewed with blueberry juice in honor of that. Isn't that
Pretty
cool?
big, too.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty big beer.
So yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I was surprised to find out it's 7%. I mean, be honest, I don't know how much of this I could drink, but approaching it, I was a little worried about drinking it, and It's a pretty interesting beer. I mean, I like what they've done. It brings to mind like the Pillsbury blueberry muffins, and you get the little the can in there, and you open that little can, and it's just the smallest blueberries known to man in the
But
syrup.
so like flavor concentrated.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You eat one of them, it's like a whole
actually hurts
mountain
a
of
lot.
blueberries. Everyone's poking
I was
Dave's
getting
belly.
jabbed.
The wrong sort of sounds are coming out.
insides.
The story about the little girl who the Elena's blueberry pie. It's I think she passed away in 2006. It's a really beautiful story because this little girl, I think she passed away at the age of like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And she left all these little notes in all sorts of little books in her family's house. So when she passed, they found like all these encouraging notes that she'd left behind. It's I can't watch the video without squirting like every time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so for all those reasons, I think this beer deserves to get that mention.
Yeah, good.
I like what they're doing. It's pretty neat.
And it's a tasty beer.
And it really is. Yeah, it really is tastier than I even thought.
I'm glad somebody picked it. I really am.
Well, I'm here to do
Attaboy.
The Brown's work.
God's brown work. Wait.
The sweet brown lord's work.
I'm letting all my homies know that I'm down for the brown.
Totally legal, by the way.
Absolutely.
That's totally legal.
Yeah. So
can't stop that.
Just under
give
the
this
wire.
a Suds rating of 3.
Very cool.
Julieanna.
Okay, well, I'm just going to talk about things that have already been talked about. So there's that. First of all, I want to say this flight was really cool because there was a lot of different types of browns that were in here.
I'm impressed. I mean,
we
you don't
had-
think about brown ales as being that diverse.
No, but this was great. I mean, we had hoppy browns, and we had
did?
said not so hoppy browns, and we had fruited browns,
Sweet.
and we had
Sweet, dry.
the pecan brown and
Silky bodied brown.
silky bodied browns, imperial
Rough
browns,
Leroy
Bobby
Brown.
Big lip browns.
No.
No,
Not
No,
Bobby
Bobby.
Brown?
no,
No.
no. Nice try, but no,
No.
no.
I don't even like that guy.
I was.
I heard he had sex with a ghost.
Okay, fine.
Wow.
That's
That's documented. I didn't
best
make that up.
episode.
No.
It's all right. So maybe you should go through your 3 beers.
yeah.
real quick.
I think
Hit
I
it,
will.
girl.
Like most people, I really enjoy the Maduro Brown.
Yep.
The Maduro Brown is one of the first Cigar City beers that I ever had. So it brings back that memory of going to Huntsville and getting all excited about
Before we could get Cigar City.
it. Right,
Was that
before
the
we
first
can
time you
get
ever got like excited in Huntsville? Was that
that. Yeah.
Well, it is Rocket
Good
City.
point. Good point.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
in the complex?
Taking you to
Yes.
Rocket City,
You know,
baby.
Bring it all back.
So there's that. But also knowing that so this Maduro Brown was the first beer that was made by Cigar City.
I didn't know that.
Yes. No. Yeah.
She's-
No, no, no. I
Yes,
know. I
yes,
was just, I
yes.
did not know
She's
that.
queen of the factoids.
Yeah,
No, not necessarily. I
which
had
would
some-
make sense, the cigar reference.
Right.
Yeah.
And the head brewer loved to have a good Maduro.
He loved his browns.
So why not? Kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
and
I'm
it's
saying.
just, as it warms up, this beer is even more incredible than what it
delicious.
is when it's cold.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
yes,
delicious.
it's cold. When it's cold, it's still quaffable and good. But what I really love about it is it really opens up once it warms up. And
Definitely.
Like making the brown connection.
Yep.
yeah.
They
And
open right up.
well,
when you get
and
them
for it
warm.
not being a super high ABV, it really has a lot. It packs a lot of punch in terms of flavor. And I gave this a 4. The other one that I liked, and I'm going to sort of echo what Sparky said, was the Rockets in the Complex from Wiseacre. I mean, yeah, it was sweet. Okay. Yes, definitely a dessert beer. And yes, I'm a girl and it's a girly beer. However,
I remember Sparky saying that.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I'm giddy like a schoolgirl.
But besides that, it's a really good beer. For it being Imperial, it doesn't taste Imperial. Yeah, the alcohol is probably hidden by all the sweetness of it, but it's just a really good brown beer. And I was kind of blown away by it, like how much I enjoyed it. I gave that one a 4 as well. And then last but not least is Leroy Brown to me, because Leroy Brown is everything I expect out of a good, solid brown beer.
Big bad.
Yeah. It's not too hoppy. It's not too sweet. It's not too malty. It is just right there. It is middle of the road, and it won't let you down.
It is an odd name for that beer, though, because he is big.
You would
Leroy
think
Brown.
It is neither
It is
big
the opposite.
nor is it bad.
You think that would be like an Imperial, like a big barrel aged brown.
Call
That's
it like
it. That's
Leroy's younger brother, Humble Jim Brown.
You're 100% right.
Has
Yeah.
anybody done a
Elroy.
Bill Brasky beer? That would be amazing. That would make me really happy.
It's probably
Speaking of
coming.
Big beers.
It's probably coming. Yeah.
I
Breweries
think
out
someone's
there.
going to. Yeah.
You owe me a nickel for Bill Brasky beer.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Maybe
good.
it should be like Elroy Brown.
Oh,
That'd be a good one.
yeah,
Yeah, you know.
yeah. But I have to give it up for them. It's a really good. I mean, standard brown. Yes, and I give this one a 3. Since we have a couple seconds left, can we talk about the Magnolia, the Southern Pecan that we didn't talk about?
Well, I'll tell you, as someone with a nut allergy, I'm glad it didn't kill me. Okay, I'm just
You
gonna
kinda look
put that
funny.
out there.
We are too.
Well, I was
Dave.
funny looking when you got here,
Okay.
so
I'm ready to rip a hole in your windpipe, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's voluntary.
I
That's-
appreciate
Let's see how
that.
much it would take.
So are the
know
listeners.
I'll
what?
do that even if you don't need it.
I know you're saying that with love, and that's why I appreciate it.
Yeah, we got some straws. We got this covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a pocket knife and a ink
Straw,
pen tube,
and you'd be fine.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're going to talk about the Southern Brown?
Yeah,
Yeah, talk
exactly.
about it.
Southern Pecans.
Talk about
Yes.
it, dude.
The the Southern Pecan.
Caperton's got notes.
I don't, actually.
Oh
No.
well,
That is a little on.
Caperton doesn't have notes.
Well, okay, so for this brown having roasted pecans in it, what do you guys think?
Well, I tasted fried chicken. I don't know about the rest of you, but I tasted.
Well,
fried
there's a
chicken.
reason
Well,
for that, Dave.
specifically.
They actually roast the pecans for this in repurposed Popeyes chicken ovens.
Love my pecans from Southern Magnolia.
True story. So I've always wanted to have some fried chicken in this. I think.
Well, there you
probably
go.
pair well.
Well, if you ever have too many and you get that hankering with a hangover for some fried chicken, just drink some more.
Just pound another Southern
Lazy Magnolia.
Kind of a gateway beer. I don't really taste D's in this though.
Yeah, I didn't either.
It's not like so I was going to say, don't confuse it with a pecan porter, like a pie.
You know, they
thing,
should never
you know?
make that beer again.
Right.
They should never make that beer.
No.
But it was, it's an interesting beer.
It smells really nice.
Yeah.
It's much lighter. I think that's the lightest hue of any of the
It
beers.
doesn't punch me in the face with pecans.
I think
though.
that may be the thing is that it was so light, it got kind of lost.
It
in
did.
the flight.
I think it was probably
It's
the
not
least complex.
Yeah, it's not a bad beer at all. It's just
No.
it's not. There's just not that much going on.
the
with
Braxton and the Wiseacre really stood out, for those
Yeah.
reasons, I think, from the pack.
I think the Catawba was just
they
was
they
the
went on
brown.
the edge.
The brown bear was the brown ale.
Yeah.
Well, here's my question. We talked about like these brown. The Leroy Brown is what you think of when you have a brown, and then everyone's giving it a 3, maybe a 4. Like, so what's a 5? What's a 5 that's a brown to you? Is it even a brown at that point if it's
I
a
don't
5?
know.
Have we had it? Maybe.
It is the style gets a little confusing to me. I mean,
Would it be an
Yeah,
would it be
it
an
does.
oud brune? I mean, maybe
Right.
there's
Dude,
a,
sign me up
No.
because I love me.
If you ever
Down
find
like a clown,
yourself,
Charlie. Down like a clown, Charlie.
had to get it in one more
Down like a
time.
clown, Charlie.
one more time.
Down like a clown, Charlie.
Oh, it never gets old ever.
Wow.
I think if we learned anything here, we need an Oud Brune episode.
We do.
Maybe we do.
Sign me up.
Maybe
I just wish
do.
you would get some of those new brunes.
Yeah, the new ones are better.
Are they? But they're
That's what I
young.
hear. They're newer.
the nude bruins,
Ooh, how about a dude brune?
the silky body,
Sounds like a sports
Nude
ball
Dude
team.
Brune.
I'm not drinking that.
the nude
Nah.
brown.
I'm not.
I would
I'm
not
sorry.
recommend that.
I'm not drinking a nude dude
I drink
brune.
my Ouds in the nude sometimes.
Oh, hello.
I'm glad we're on radio.
And people at home, there are some photos of that.
In fact,
on the Facebook page.
here, hold my
Check it.
beer.
And vomit. There are vomit buckets ready too.
Wow. Okay. Well, that was great stuff, everyone. But this is going to wrap it up for today's Suds episode.
That's probably good.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and can catch all of our episodes online, as well as on SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, PRX, and Spreaker, our native media host. iTunes, Google Play, and our own Android app are the easiest ways to enjoy the show on your phone. Just search for Sip Suds Smokes on iTunes or in the Google Play Store.
We love your feedback, and you can reach us online at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com.
Our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter every day at Sip Suds and Smoke, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news.
And please, please take the time to rate this episode if you're listening online. And remember, we love the number 5.
Yes, 5.
Even more than we like number 2.
Wait. Never interrupt a number 2. We learned that this episode, too.
Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out to the Brown episode today. Good old boy Dave.
I want to thank everybody on Earth.
Okay. Attaboy.
Very good. Very good.
Attaboy.
Good old boy Caperton.
I'm just glad we did this. This was fun. I'm glad we did it, and I'm glad you guys counted me in.
Yay. Good old boy Sparky.
I just like talking about number 2, and I make no apologies.
As one would expect. And good old boy Tim.
How now, brown cow?
How'd it go?
Been waiting for that one.
Nice. Well, this is good old gal Julieanna. Keep on chuckling and see you next time.
This has been a one-tan-hand production of Sip Suds and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see y'all next time.